If you don't heal so your body feels safe, you will never attract the life that you want. This is week 1 of 12 weeks where I show you how to heal your body so you feel safe. But what does that mean? When your body feels safe, your subconscious stops running on stored stress and fear that has built up over the years. And once that stress is not running the show anymore, you will finally start attracting what you actually want. But almost nobody gets to that point, not because they can't, but because they never clear the very first thing standing in the way. And that first thing is the mental spiral. So that's where we start today. By the end of this video, you are going to know exactly what the mental spiral is, why it keeps you stuck, and the exact tool you can use to shut it down for good. The mental spiral is when you replay bad memories or talk to yourself negatively. That's it. It is not complicated. It is you sitting there thinking of an old memory that makes you feel embarrassed, or replaying the moment you got hurt, or even going over what you should have said in an argument. And the easiest way to tell if you have a lot of healing to do is if bad memories just pop up out of nowhere and it makes you kind of cringe. And here's the part almost nobody understands. Your body does not know the difference between a real event and a memory you are replaying. When you replay an old traumatic memory, your body reacts like it is happening right now. Your heart rate goes up, your muscles tighten, your body dumps stress chemicals into your system the exact same way it did the day it actually happened. So every time you replay that memory, you are not just remembering it, you are living it again in your body. And your body files it away as one more piece of evidence that you are not safe. But the memories are only the half of it. The other half does even more damage and nobody ever sees it coming. The negative self-talk is even worse. All of us are guilty of little comments we say to ourselves, things like, you're such an idiot, or, stop being so stupid. And most people think this is just being silly. They think it's harmless, but it is not harmless. Every time you talk to yourself with negativity, you are teaching your body that you are under threat and you are not a priority, because that is what negativity is to the body. It is a threat signal. So between the replayed memories and the negative self-talk, most people spend all day quietly telling their body that it is in danger. And then they wonder why they feel anxious all the time, why they can't relax, why they can't sleep, why nothing good seems to come their way. It's because their body has been kept in a state of fear for years. And here's what that fear does. A body that feels unsafe goes into survival mode. And survival mode has one job: to keep you alive right now and to keep you safe. It does not care about your dreams. It does not care about the life you want to build. Survival mode shrinks your world down to just getting through the day. So as long as you let the mental spiral go without stopping it, you are locked in survival. And you cannot build anything from survival. And each time you replay an old memory or talk to yourself with negativity, you are keeping yourself stuck in that same pattern of trauma and fear. And it gets even worse because the more you run the spiral, the stronger it gets. The brain builds a pathway for anything you do over and over. Now, it's trying to be efficient. Your brain says, well, you do this a lot, so let's just make it automatic. Then after enough years, the spiral doesn't even wait for you. It just runs on its own. A memory pops up that you didn't ask for. A negative thought shows up out of nowhere. It literally shapes how you view the world. Now, none of this is a sign that something is wrong with you. It's just a pathway that got stronger over time from repeated use. And most people never get past this first stage of healing. They stay stuck their entire lives, not because they're weak, but because nobody ever told them the spiral was the thing keeping them down. And nobody ever gave them a way to stop it. And that is exactly what I am about to give you. You are going to be different, because I am going to show you how to use the pattern interrupt to stop the mental spiral. And I want you to really understand why this works before I show you how to do it, because if you understand why it works, you will actually stick with it. The reason the mental spiral has such a hold over you is that it runs without you noticing. It's automatic. It happens in the background while you're doing something else. So the key here is to not to try to fight the spiral, but to catch it. The moment you catch it, you take it off autopilot. And the second it's not on automatic anymore, you have the power to stop it. That's the entire secret. You do not need to win an argument with your own mind. You do not need to force a positive thought on top of a negative one. You just need to interrupt the pattern before it runs its full course. So here's how you actually do it. All you have to do to use the pattern interrupt is notice when you are replaying a bad memory or talking to yourself in a negative way. And as soon as you notice you are doing either of these things, take a split second to recognize what is happening. And then say to yourself, this is an old memory, or this is negative self-talk. I am safe. I do not have to do this anymore. That's all you have to do. That is the whole tool. You name what is happening and you tell your body the truth that you are safe right now. And the reason you say I am safe out loud in your head is that your body has been getting the danger signal for years. So you have to consciously send your nervous system the opposite signal. You have to tell it that was then, this is now. And right now, I am safe. Now, the first few times you do this, it's going to feel like it's not working. The memory is going to come right back. The negative thought is going to show up again 10 minutes later. That is normal. That is not failure. Remember, you built this pathway over years. One interrupt does not erase it, but every single time you interrupt it, you weaken it just a little bit. So you are not trying to win in one shot. You are trying to shift which way the pattern is going. Right now, the negativity is getting fed every day. Your job is to start starving it, and you starve it by catching it and interrupting it over and over and over again. The same way it got strong from repetition, it gets weak from repetition each time you do the pattern interrupt. And the best part is you can do this no matter where you're at, no matter what you're doing. You do not need a quiet room. You do not need to sit down and meditate. You do not need anyone to know you are doing it. You can be at work, in the car, in the middle of a conversation. The second you catch the spiral, you run the interrupt right then and there, silently. Nobody has to know. And that is what makes this work in real life, because your spiral does not wait for a convenient time. It shows up in the grocery store. It shows up at 2 a.m. It shows up right in the middle of a good day. So your tool has to work everywhere. And the pattern interrupt works anywhere, anytime. And you can build your own pattern interrupt so that it sounds like you, because the words I use might not land the same for you as they do for me. The point is not to copy my exact words. The point is to have a line that you will believe when you say it. I'll give you an example using myself. Every time I would notice any self-talk or bad memories, I would say to myself, this is a bad memory. You do not have to replay it anymore. You are safe. You have worked very hard to get to where you are at. And that last part mattered for me, because reminding myself how far I had come was the thing that made me actually feel safe. Your version might be different. Yours might be about your kids, or the people who count on you, or even just the simple fact that the thing you are replaying is over and it cannot touch you. Find the words that make your own body relax. Find the words that make you feel empowered. And those are your words. And once you have your own words, there is one more thing you need to know, or you will quit before it ever works. I had to do this for 6 or 8 months until the mental spirals went away. And I want to be honest with you about the timeline, because this is where most people fail. Almost everybody that starts using the pattern interrupt only tries it for a couple of days and then they stop doing it. They do it for 3 days, they don't feel healed, and they decide it does not work. Of course it doesn't work in 3 days. It took your whole life to build up all of this negativity. It is not going away in a week. Think about what you are actually asking. You are asking to undo a pathway that got reinforced every day for years, and you want it gone in a couple of days? That is not how the brain works. The brain changes slow, but it does change, and it changes in one direction only, the direction you give it through constant repetition. So here's what I need you to understand about the months ahead, because knowing what is coming is what will keep you going when it gets hard. In the first few weeks, catching the spiral is going to be the hard part. You won't even notice you are spiraling out of habit until you're 10 minutes deep, and that's fine. But the moment you do realize it, run the interrupt. Even 10 minutes late still counts. After a few weeks, things will start to shift. You will start catching it faster. You will catch it at 5 minutes, then 1 minute, then the second it starts. That is your brain learning the new pattern. That is the pathway getting built. And then somewhere down the line, something happens that surprises everyone who gets there. You catch the spiral before it even fully forms. A memory starts to surface and you feel yourself say, "Nope, not doing that. I am safe." And it just dissolves. That is the moment you know your hard work is truly paying off. And it keeps getting easier from there until one day you realize you haven't spiraled in a while. That is what 6 or 8 months of this actually looks like. And this is the part that changes everything, because I promise if you stick with it for a few months, you will see an extreme positive shift in your life. And it will not just be that the spirals are gone, it will be everything downstream of that. Because remember why you are doing this. When the negative mental spiral stops running, your body stops getting the danger signal all day. And when the danger signal stops, your body finally comes out of survival mode. And when you come out of survival mode, you get your energy back. You get your focus back. You start being able to think about the future instead of just surviving the day. That is when the life you actually want becomes possible. Not because the universe suddenly likes you more, but because you are finally in a state where you can attract what you want to build. The spiral was never a small thing. It was the thing holding the whole door shut, and the pattern interrupt is how you open it. So I want to leave you with the whole thing in one piece so it's simple. Use the pattern interrupt to stop the mental spiral. Notice the negativity, the replayed memory, or the negative self-talk. Catch it. Call it out by name. Tell yourself you are safe. And do it every single time, no matter where you are, no matter how many times it takes. Stick with it for months and watch what happens when your body finally believes it is safe. This is the foundation. This comes first. And always remember, it only takes one day to turn everything around.